Welcome to Cup of Jess, where the coffee's hot, the truth is hotter, and we're spilling all the real, raw business moves no one talks about. No fluff, just facts. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everyone. We are back here at A Cup of Jess. And guess what? Not only did he flew in from New York today, but he has so much knowledge that I am ready to pick his brain. So I want to welcome today. He came all the way from New York to have a cup of Jess. And I want to introduce Edward Lantigua. Edward, thank you so much for being here. Honestly, I am so grateful that you made the time to come and visit me and have a cup of Jess. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation to this wonderful podcast. You're doing amazing things. I see it online all the time.
Thank you.
And it's just a pleasure being here in Houston. And I always like coming to Houston. Great food, but obviously enjoy coming and having a cup of Jess here. So absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation and looking forward to see what we could do and get the information out there.
Thank you so much. It is important that we, as tax professionals, because you are an enroll agent, and tell us a little bit about what is an enroll agent in our industry.
Well, that's a great question, right? Because we have different people in the industry of tax preparation, right? We have the CPAs, which is like the top level. On top of the attorneys, we have the attorneys as well. Then we have the enrolled agents. We concentrate more on taxation. We are able to represent clients in all 50 states, and we deal more with tax resolution, tax planning, and tax preparation. Then you have the tax preparers, right?
Correct.
They're there. They're great. They're great. We all started as a tax preparer,
That's me.
and there are amazing people out there. But we are a little higher up, if you want to call it that way.
Correct.
Now, CPAs handle more financials. We handle more taxations.
And that's awesome. And I know you've been doing an amazing job, doing great things, and also um, helping us as tax professionals. Right? We definitely need to have that knowledge, and that's something that I always tell my clients. I'm like, hey, whenever you go and do your tax return, are you even questioning? Because usually they come to me once they have the house on fire, right? So in that case, I'm like, you need to make sure that your tax professional has the credentials and knowledge and that they do their due diligence, right?
Right. So nowadays this has been going on for a while, right? We have so
Correct.
many different, especially in the Hispanic community, right? There's so many different offices that open up. I had a conversation with a congressman in New York, Adriano Espaillat, and I said, we need to get something in place to start to regulate this business, right? Because if you go get your haircut, you go to a salon, you go to a beauty salon, you need a license, right? But
Correct.
we're so easy to open up these days, one of these types of businesses, and people just they think it's so lucrative. And our community at when they're looking for these events, they're looking for these places, and they always seem to fall into the ones that aren't doing the great things, right?
Correct.
So it's always hard. But clients, yes, they need to be on the lookout for what seems to be too good to be true, the way I say it always. And you have to look for certain offices and certain credentials and just find out. Now we're in the information age. We can find out who's who, right? Easy with a simple search.
Right.
But we need to start working on that more in the profession.
Absolutely. And that's something that I make sure that my clients understand from the beginning and that they have that engagement letter. What is it that they're going to expect from us at our office? And I wanted to touch this topic because tax season is coming.
Right.
Like it's crazy how November just creep up on us and we're like, what? We have 2 months to get prepared for tax season. So that's why I wanted to bring also a colleague professional and to make sure that if you're listening to us is to give you that education on what to ask your preparer, like what are some questions that you think that our community should be asking their preparers so they can feel like okay they know what they're doing, right?
I guess the number one question nowadays is where could I find you, right? Because now you have so many offices opening up online
Correct.
that you could just create a domain and create an office, and now you're online and you start providing your most important information, social security, name, date of birth,
Yeah.
bank account, with all that information is powerful, right?
Right.
You could go get a car, get a mortgage, get different things. So now you find this place online and it seems to be that they're legitimate, right? But you need to find a place. Where can you find them after tax season?
Right.
What phone number, what email, what physical address?
Correct.
What's the physical address we're going to use to find you after that? And also, you could search them up right online. See what the reviews are. Nowadays, we live by reviews. Like if
Yes.
I'm going to buy something, I usually go to Google reviews to see what's going on. You start to review the person, start to review the office, see if they have good reviews, bad reviews, And then you could start searching if it's good or bad, stay away, go, don't go. And the reviews will kind of tell you what to do. But
Correct.
the first thing you need to do is, where do I find you? Where would I find you after April 15th? Because after April 15th, many of them are gone.
Correct. And those are called the ghost preparers, right? That they come and they prepare your taxes, your tax return, and maybe they're not educating or putting credits that actually you're qualified for. And what happens is that after April 15th, if IRS catches that mistake and they come and send you a letter and then you're calling them and they're just gone, then that's where the problem starts.
And it usually happens. Funny thing, it usually happens after a year or 2 years when these things start to happen. The credits, you mentioned the credits. There are so many good things going on social these days, right? People are getting these amazing credits, but they're not even entitled to them, right? So you gotta, if you know, you usually receive, people like refunds, right? They like refunds, but if they usually get back 1,000, 2,000, you start to see your refund is 10,000. Start to question that. What
Right.
credits are being used?
Correct.
What's being applied? And if it's something new, what happened is after COVID, right? After COVID,
Hmm.
people started hearing all these credits. But it's something new, it's going to show up in the local news. You're going to hear about it.
Right.
You're going to hear. But if it's just one store offering this, something's off. You got to be a
Right.
little careful with that. And it happens a lot with low income communities, unfortunately. They're always looking for different informations and different returns and different things. And they're hearing like primo, the primo says, go there, go there, go there.
Yeah, el
And
compadre,
compadre
hey, I
tells them.
got so much refund, and they come to us and they're like, "Oh, well, my compadre got so much in refund, and we have the same job." And I'm like, "But what about your dependents? What about what other credits are they using?" And that's whenever things fall in place. But you guys already heard it from the professionals. You guys have to interview your tax preparer, your tax professional. But we already talked a little bit about that, but Edward, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the industry? I know you've been doing this industry for a while now.
It's been a while.
How many years?
It started the other day. It started the other day. It actually started in 1999. That's when I
Wow.
started. It's 26 years in, and I actually started it by accident. I always say I started by accident. I started working with my cousin. It was called a multi-service business.
Hmm.
Multi-service is where you do the insurance, you do the divorces, you do the immigration,
Correct.
the notary public, and all these things. All these services that were there, right? And my cousin tells me, hey, you know what? Why don't you start doing taxes? I'm like, I don't know how to do taxes. He goes, I'll teach you. And I started there. And I spent 6 months with my cousin. And after 6 months, I decided to open up a shop.
Okay.
And I moved all the way from Washington Heights to Brooklyn. And I opened up a shop. I took the credit cards. I maxed all of them out. And within a year, I lost a
I thought
hundred.
it was the only one that did that.
No, 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 no.
So I guess that's another thing. When you start a business, you give it all.
I give it all.
you you put all your credit cards, all your savings. I mean, you just bet and have that faith that everything's going to go well.
But it didn't go well.
Ooh, okay, tell us about that because
So
I always want to know we want to know about the success, but also
right.
what didn't go too well.
I wasn't ready. I went in too soon. I maxed out the credit cards. I went to a place I didn't know, and I lost $100,000.
Wow.
And I said, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. And I went to work in another field. I went to work in a Holiday Inn actually.
Hmm.
And after that, I was like, I hate doing this. I hate working there. And I told my cousin, "Gotta get a job back?" And he says, yes, come back. And then after that, I continued to learn. I started to learn. I started to learn more, starting to learn more about business, marketing, how to get my word out there, how to do things. Meanwhile, I was still working with him. I did not leave the job. No, I didn't go do this on my own. And after that's when I took off. And in 2003, I found a location where I've been at ever since.
Hmm.
So since 2003 to now, I've been at that location and just continuing to educate, continue to learn, continue to do seminars and learn. So it's been 26 years since in it, but people always think it's easy to start, right? And to continue is not. There's a lot of struggles you got to go through. But I've been doing insurance, I've done all of it. But taxes is what it's actually I'm passionate for, especially for our
Correct.
community. I serve the Hispanic community a lot, and they need the help. So
Yes.
they need the help. And when they come with a problem, we can help them. It feels good to do it.
And you touch a point that I was like, okay, this is something important because a lot of our clients also they start their own businesses, right? And they're like, hey, I'm gonna leave my job and I'm gonna give it all in this new adventure that I'm starting. My advice has always been, hey, don't leave your job until you're business or adventure that you started is actually making the same amount of money or profiting for your pocket because you have to take care of family, right? Um, Almost that amount that you were making. But I mean, do you have other advice that you would
Well,
give a person that is starting a business?
here's the thing: most people that start a business, they're not business owners. They're not
Correct.
business owners. They either worked at a restaurant and somebody told them you could cook really good, or they worked at a
You should
mechanic.
start making your own tacos
They
and
they
pupusas.
they were a mechanic at a body shop, and they're like, oh, you're the best mechanic there, but they don't know how to run a business.
Correct.
So I tell people, if you're going to start a restaurant, if you're going to go start a restaurant, if you think you want to start a restaurant, go work for a restaurant for another restaurant. Let's say if you're in another industry and somebody tells you you're a great cook, I tell them go intern,
Right.
go run the restaurant with them, go intern with someone. They'll be happy to use the help and see if you really like to run a restaurant. Because when the dishwasher goes out, when you got to clean snow, when you got to clean the lawn, when you got to pay the bills, when all these things come, you might not like it, right? So you got to start it there. So that's a great point as well. I tell people, don't leave your job. You could start most great businesses start as a side hustle.
Right.
They start late at night. They start after 9 to 5, and you continue to build. You continue to build, and that way, once you get enough clients, right,
Mhm.
you could then move forward. But people are too fast to move, and that's when they break the bank. Now, some people go all
Or
in.
they get discouraged because sometimes, maybe that's their passion and things didn't go well, or they get burnt out. Or I've had people come and tell me, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to continue the business because all we do is pay taxes. We have sales taxes, we have property taxes, we have income tax, right? But this is where it is important as well, having a professional by your side that can guide you through that.
And that's another mistake most new business owners makes. They don't want to spend the money, right? Because they can afford it. They say they can
Right.
afford it, but that's one of your business biggest, and
Expenses.
it's an investment as well. When you invest into a tax advisor or someone that's going to guide you and
Right.
tell you, you need to pay this, you need to pay this, you need to make sure your quarterlies are done, you need to make sure your sales tax are done. I know in Texas you guys have franchise tax.
Correct.
Make sure you do all of this. That way you stay out of trouble. But most new business owners, they think just getting the LLC, they're protected. That's it. I'll get an
Right.
LLC and I'm done, right?
Yes.
And it's not. That's You might need a business license. You might need a special license. You might need something else. So you need to get that done. And I think a great tax advisor could, on their side, could help them well with an attorney as well. I believe in attorneys a lot, but you need that person there to help you and guide you.
Hmm.
And most people don't want to make the investment.
They
They
don't. Or they think that we're just putting in their numbers in the tax return. And when we have to, for example, if they're trying to buy a house or trying to make an investment or get a loan, those numbers need to be clean. Like whatever's your bank account, whatever transactions happen, your the accounting has to be on point in order for it to match your tax return, right?
Right. So if you're trying to buy a house, obviously credit is important, but your
Correct.
tax return, the first thing the mortgage broker is going to ask for is your tax return.
Correct.
They want to make sure it makes sense. There's a lot of tax returns they get, right? Mortgage brokers will
Hmm.
receive and they don't make any sense. They'll have, I know depreciation is a big thing, but they'll have all these expenses and people are like, well, where do you get these expenses from? They really they
That is a big one because it is funny to me that sometimes we have either the client or lenders and they come and they're like, "Hey, um Joe Smith wants to buy a house and but you didn't put depreciation. I know you can put depreciation. Depreciation is huge like as to be a red flag to IRS if you are not using it like legit."
well, okay, so depreciation is one of those things that it's a gift. It's a
Right.
gift from the IRS when you use it properly. So there's machinery that you could depreciate. There's vehicles you could depreciate. When you have a rental property, you could
Mhm.
depreciate. So technically, it's a gift. Now, what you're referring to mostly is a lot of mortgage brokers. They want you to manipulate the tax return,
There you go.
and they want to say, bring in this as depreciation. Get the depreciation in there. This rental income should have this. Um, this expense. They want to tell you what to do, when in reality, you're committing fraud. You're
Exactly.
committing fraud, and you got to be very careful with that, especially with the mortgage brokers. I like them. I like the mortgage brokers, but a lot of them get too involved and they want to qualify the client.
Exactly.
And you got to tell them, wait. What you're telling me to do. It's I can't do that. So
Right.
we have that issue with mortgage brokers as well. They come in, oh, put this back in. I'm like, well, it doesn't go. It's just
Exactly.
not
We
it.
just can't make up numbers to put in the depreciation box, right?
Right.
That's exactly what they request. And I'm just like, we can't. And
Right.
they get upset or the client gets upset. And it's just same thing with, well, it is mortgage fraud. Same thing with amending the tax return after you purchase your home and you're like, oh, well, guess what? I did have expenses. Now let's go in and
That
amend.
that's a huge. It's funny you mentioned that, right? Because that's a huge, very, 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 very huge issue in our community. People want to qualify for the homes. So they'll say, oh, I made $100,000. I made $200,000. I want to report that. When they see the tax bill is $40,000 and they don't qualify for the loan because of some other issue, now they want you to amend the return and they forgot expenses, or they say, no, I didn't make that income. Now you're committing two frauds: mortgage fraud and tax fraud. So you're committing two things, and you got to be very careful with that. As a
Right.
professional, if you're signing off on that, you're also responsible.
Correct.
You're responsible. You're signing off on it, so it's you're responsible. The client's going to be more responsible, but they could hold you
And
responsible
did
as
you
well.
know that I've heard it from a lender that they're after they close on their home, the loan file still goes through another process of just verifying, going through the lawyers and things like that. So it actually can come back to us like, hey, you didn't do this correctly. And it's unfortunate because then not only we were hired to do the tax return and now they're like amend it, and then that's another service.
It's the same thing in the mortgage brokers. They want you to sign off on the loan, and you're kind of signing off on the loan, especially for the self-employed people.
Correct.
They're saying, okay, tell me they're okay to buy this house. Like, no. You do your due diligence.
Correct.
They qualify for you, I'm not signing it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't guarantee that if they take money out of their account, that $40,000, $50,000, that their business will survive. That's your job, and you got to be very careful with that as professionals. But there's a lot of professionals out there, a lot of tax preparers. They don't know that,
Correct.
and they don't know that, and they'll
Unfortunately.
just sign off on it. Uh,
Or they want to keep that client, or they want to keep that relationship with that network, right?
Right.
Oh, I'll make it happen. Like I've had people come and tell me, they're like, oh, well, this other tax preparer would do it. I'm like, well, I'm not that other tax preparer.
And that's another issue we have in the industry. There are too many people. There are too many new preparers that want to get the client, right. So they'll say yes to everything.
Everything.
They'll say yes to everything, and that makes you look bad because it
Correct.
makes you look like you don't know what you're doing. You're like, oh, but so you know, just I said no. But when the person down the block, Rosa, said yes, makes you look bad. But that's one part. I tell
Right.
people, I always use the refund example. If two people give you $3,000 a refund, the other person says 10,000. Most people go for the 10,000, but they don't
Right.
question what's wrong with the 10,000, right? They'll say these two were wrong, but this one was right, and it's usually the other way around. One of them is wrong.
Correct. Yeah, no, that's great that we touched that because it is crucial for our communities to know that, and also our network.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about how you handle life and family and business. And I know it's especially in the industry that we are service based. How do you take care of yourself?
Well, you try to we that's a good question because at times we question our sanity. We question our sanity in this business because we work so many long hours. And
You're like, is it even worth
right,
it?
right. You're right. You're right. So we work so many long hours, especially with families that have two
Hey, and
kids.
especially during January through April, I told my family and my friends, I'm like MIA. I'm not
I
nowhere.
have missed many birthdays. I have missed many occasions, many travel trips. And even though I'm working on that, with our team so I could step out of the office during that season. But you gotta stay. There's a balance. You gotta create that balance because
Hmm.
if not, your health will go away,
Right.
and time goes really fast. So I'm trying to find time for the gym, trying to find time eat correctly, drink less coffee. But obviously that's part of our routine.
No, and it's funny because when we do like our check-ins during tax season, we're like, "Hey, how's it going?" You're like, "I'm on my fourth cup of coffee."
It's crazy. It's crazy. There's a lot of coffee involved, but you have to kind of put some standards. There's standards you got to put in place, and there's non-negotiables.
Right.
You got to say, I'm gonna go to the gym today. I'm not gonna eat. I'm not gonna eat this food. I'm gonna drink only 2 cups of coffee, and you got to keep on those non-negotiables.
Right.
And you got to take a day off during the week or some time off because during tax season, I'm used to working from 10 a.m. to 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning,
Wow.
7 days a week. Now this year, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. You got to step back a little bit,
Yeah.
see less of the clients, let the team take care of it, and you
Hmm.
handle more of the other stuff. But it gets hard because I
Right.
travel as well for seminars. I travel as well for seminars. We have
Speaking engagements
speaking
and things.
engagements and stuff like that. So it's hard. It's really hard, but we're working on it. We're working on it. Bike riding helps, even though I haven't been on my bike for a while. But that was really good when I was on the bike. it really helped out because you're in the clear, you're in, you're out there, fresh air. It really works for me.
No, and it's good. It's good to find a hobby. Like I started running. Like I'm not a runner, but I felt like that helped me stay motivated as well with your health and just your mental health as well. Because then you get so involved in clients' files and things like that that you're like,
A-
ah.
and we're so communicated these days, right? Because before we would open shop, we were closed and we're gone.
Mhm.
Now we have we have emails, we have Facebook, we have
Oh my
Instagram,
God, yeah.
we have LinkedIn,
It's like you get
we have WhatsApp, we have Teams, we have they'll find us, right? Clients will
yes.
find us no matter what.
That
So
is so funny. It's like I sent you a message through the CRM, but I see that you here on Instagram. Hello.
right. So before we would open, we have a phone. People called. We were closed. We were closed when I started, right? But now we're always connected. It seems like we're always on the phone. We're always looking for. We're always on a conversation. So somebody always has an emergency, and I stopped taking emergencies. The last time I tell people, the last time there was someone that said, "I have an emergency," I said, "No, I'm not a doctor. Call 911." you know, I was, they could wait. And so, but we were so connected now, it could get to us. So we have to be careful with that as well, because this business is a lot of pressure. People need things fast. Everybody wants to talk to you. Nobody wants to talk to anyone else. They want to talk to
Right.
you, and it's a short period of time. That's the thing as well. Tax season is really it's the busy season is 2 to 4 season,
Very
but
fast
we work
paced.
since we work all year long. We're open all year long. It's different, but it's very fast paced. You got to be.
Correct.
It's very fast paced, multitasking, doing different things, 1,000 things at a time, and we go from there. So it's tough.
So, do you mentor other tax professionals?
I do. I do. I've been doing it for since 2020.
Okay.
I've been mentoring. I also have a group as well where we have a community
Hmm.
for tax professionals and business owners. I kind of combined it because I think the tax professionals are business owners, and I don't want that separation. And there's business owners looking for information on tax planning, on
Hmm.
tax resolution. They want to stay out of trouble. So I'm combining this group so it could be more of a community.
Right.
I don't want it to be a course. And I also mentor others, um, as far as growing their business and learning more about taxes.
I am all for it because every time I speak to a new business owner or somebody that wants to start their business, I always tell them, hey, the first thing you should do is find a mentor, a mentor in your industry that will be able to guide you and show you, hey, this is the right path. And because they already made mistakes. So you want to make sure that they're giving you the advice that it worked for them, right? Everybody's situation is different, but at least you already know, like, hey, you can't be opening a second store the first year or second year, depending on your numbers, because a lot of people like to start really quick, right? And they think that overnight they're gonna make money and all this profit, but that's something that it is important to have.
And sometimes people just need a second voice, a second opinion, someone to relate to them and say, no, stop them. That idea is not good, or that idea is really good. And all business owners higher up, the millionaires, they all have mentors. They just pay a little more. Obviously, they pay more. But I have a mentor myself. I have a few of them.
Yeah.
And it's just providing that idea, right? It's just helping you. And sometimes you just need that clarity.
Yes, and I want to say thank you to you because there's been times that I call you and or send you a message and you're like you give me that clarity
Right.
or you ask me the hard questions
Right.
too. Like, hey, is this going to really help you? Is this the right way that you want to, go or it is important for you to have a mentor.
We just need to stop and question it. Is that question that's going to help us? Is this what you really want? And that's do you really want to do that? And they're like, no, not really. So then that's your answer. But sometimes we get into it, right, and we don't want to stop. So
Right.
so we just need that. So that's good.
So I know we were driving to the podcast and you saw the Astros
Oh,
stadium and you coming from New York, I know you were feeling a little.
you should have taken another highway.
So
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
your
yeah. Yankees fan, 100%. We've been
uh
down, but always been a Yankee fan. Astros, we have our things with Astros. We have it with Boston as well, but Astros.
really? I thought it was funny, but no. What's your hobby? I mean, I know you have the kids and what are you now putting away to look into more into your
I
hobby,
want to look more into
self-care?
traveling. I
Perfect.
want if I question myself, one of the things that I regret not doing when I was young, I was into cars. I was into racing,
Mhm.
and I spend a lot of money with cars. So I want to travel more. I want to travel because you get that experience from different places. You go to different countries, you get different experience, you meet new people, and one experience could change things. So I want to kind of get into more traveling information. As far as hobbies, my kids are busy with events. They're busy with events, so I travel with them as well. And I'm look, I might get into golf. I'm not sure
Ah, I went
yet.
yesterday. It
I,
was super fun. It's something that it is, you think it's boring, but it's a
it's not.
mental thing that you want to stay focused. You want to make sure that you are keeping the right posture and all that good stuff. But hey, you gotta do new things and learn new things.
You got to learn new things. You meet new people, and it builds an ability in you to say, you know, I could do that. I could learn it,
Right.
and it makes you better, right? Because now you have something, and you have something to move forward, not just work. You know, because we get stuck so much into work that our hobby becomes work. You know, most of the time, like, what are you doing? Working. What are you doing? My family's like, what are you doing? Working. So we gotta learn these things. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm
Yes.
looking forward to it. The traveling part more, good food, the good
No,
food more.
absolutely. And what is the end goal for you, for your businesses or your
So
where
there,
does Edward see himself in 10 years?
Dominican Republic.
Ooh.
I say I'm going to retire in the Dominican Republic. I say I'm going to live in the Dominican Republic. So, and that's actually it's kind of the time frame that I have 10, 15 years to actually move once my kids go to college. But it depends. I probably sell the business. I do not want my kids to take it.
That's
Uh,
another thing I always say that I'm not going to have like I'm not going to force my kids to be like, "Oh, well this is what we grew in the business." No, it's like I want them to find their passion and go from there.
my son says he already knows what he wants because my name is at the door. So he's like, he has the same name. So
Oh,
he's like, oh, just keep your business. I know, no, no, you're not keeping that business. But I don't know, babe. If he wants it, yeah, later on, if they want it. But my end goal is to sell the business. Actually, um, that's what I'll probably do, and probably retire in the Dominican Republic. Go build something over there. But actually, yes, that's actually been on my mind for a while. Moving, staying over there, maybe doing some consulting over there. Not retiring completely, obviously not, but start consulting, start a different type of business. I like insurance a lot, honestly. I have been an insurance agent for a while. Maybe start an insurance agency over there, something in that in
awesome.
that
So for somebody that has never been to Dominican Republic, top 3 things to do.
beach.
and and
The
and
beach.
do not disturb and a cup. You don't know
Preside-
a cup of
Presidente beer. Brugar.
so make sure to
you
invite
got,
us once you're out there
you
and
gotta. No, obviously, look, Dominican Republic is wonderful because it has different things to do. It's you have the beach, you got the rivers, you got the outdoors, you got the campo, you got the city life, you got the urban life. Anything that you really want to do, you can do in Dominican Republic. It's a third world country, but it's a very modern third world country. It's somewhere where you're seeing Ferraris, you're seeing Porsche GT3s. You could drive in the mountain. You could have great food. People are very nice. Believe it or not, people are very nice. They're very warm, family oriented. Or you could grow chickens if you want. Grow some chickens, some avocado trees, and go from there. But it has taxes.
it
Taxes are
does
strict
have
over there. You're
taxes.
paying 27% in tax rate over there. Plus, you're paying 18% sales tax, which is high.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
high.
So
So
for anybody that's trying to
it's
go
hard.
and purchase or retire as well in Dominican Republic, they need
You got to
to
make a plan.
yeah, make a plan
You got to have a plan.
and
You got to
speak
have
to
income. You got to
the
have passive
professional.
income. Absolutely, because it is expensive. Can't say it's cheap. The taxes alone will kill you over there.
Awesome. And what would you recommend to anyone that a young kid that is coming out of college and they're like, you know what, I want to open my business. I know I graduated, but I always want to finish with what would you advise?
Same thing I said before. I would advise for you to go into that field, go as an intern for a while, at least a month, 2 months, 3 months, and test different businesses. Because you might think you like that, but you might like something else. You might want to be a mechanic. You might want to do HVAC. You might want to you might want to be a barber. That might be the business you want, right? You might want to
Right.
run a podcast studio. It all depends. Test it out. Go in for free. Because it looks good on social, right? You see the real
Correct.
estate agents. You see the real estate agents saying, "I'm selling homes." How many homes are they really selling?
Correct.
Everybody's selling health insurance. Everybody's selling corporations. Everybody's doing YouTube. I tell my kids, look, I do YouTube and then I show them what I make, and they're like, "What? That's what you made?" I said, "I get 1 million views, and this is what I make." So test it out, test something out, and then go for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Edward, for being here. We're going to finish up with a cheers
Thank
with
you.
a cup of Jess. I appreciate your time and your knowledge. So, if you guys need or want more information about Edward, we will put that in the link below. Thank
Thank you.
you.